I want to take you back to May 1999 and the first ever elections to the Welsh Assembly. Almost 600 years after the first Welsh Parliament was established in 1404, the people of Wales once again had its own national democratic institution. Wales was entering a new dawn, an opportunity to meaningfully hand power to people, to communities, away from the corridors of power. It was an opportunity to cast off the dust and to set about creating our own destiny here in Wales. But that quiet earthquake in 1999 has passed many people in Wales by. 22 years on, and that radical reforming streak that ushered in a new era has, in too many ways, been replaced by a steady incrementalism, slow to move when the world is hurtling on. Now, granted, even after 1999, Wales operated with two hands tied behind its back, and we don't yet have all the tools we need to shape a fairer, greener, more liberal Wales. Our job here in Wales is made all the more difficult by the Conservative government in Westminster and their assault on devolution and our national parliament. It is our job as Liberals, and my job as leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats, to make the case for a new relationship between people and Parliament and between the nations of the United Kingdom. We need to rediscover our radical progressive voice and offer new and inspiring ideas, and we have work to do. In Wales, child poverty is rising. In-work poverty is rising. Household income lags behind that of our neighbours. We've been slower at reducing emissions compared to the rest of the UK. 1 in 14 species is heading for extinction. We need new ideas and a new way of doing politics that will propel Wales into the future. We need liberal solutions which offer hope, optimism and opportunity to all to shape their own destiny. Fundamentally, we need to capture the imagination of ordinary people about what politics can achieve. I believe it is our job to bring back that radical streak to Welsh politics, the radical tradition of Liberals down the ages, the Chartists, Cymru Fydd, Dic Penderyn, the Rebecca rioters, non-conformist, unrelenting, unwilling to accept things as they were. Welsh politics and democracy needs to change gear, to bring forward the ideas that shape a new promise for the next generation, a promise that each and every one of us and our planet can thrive, a Wales that creates opportunity, supports talent and aspiration, and creates a fairer, greener economy. I may be a single Welsh Liberal Democrat in the Senedd, but mark my words, we are going to be heard. There has been one consistent reforming voice in the Senedd since 1999, and that was Kirsty Williams. Kirsty stood down at the election in May after 22 years on the front line of Welsh politics, representing Brecon and Radnorshire. Wales and our party owe Kirsty a huge amount. From the campaign to first establish the National Assembly for Wales, to being the first ever female leader of a Welsh political party in 2008, establishing the Welsh pupil premium, driving integration of health, housing, leading legislation on safe nurses, leading the greatest education reforms in Wales since the Second World War, Kirsty has inspired and enthused and changed the life chances of a generation. I cannot thank Kirsty enough for what she has done for our party, for our country, and for the support she has given to me and to many others. Diolch a phob dymuniadau da I chi, Kirsty, ar gyfer y dyfodol. And now, some messages of thanks from other Liberal Democrats for Kirsty. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
I want to say a huge thank you to Kirsty Williams. Over the years, Kirsty has worked tirelessly to stand up for Liberal Democrat values in Brecon and Radnorshire, across Wales and beyond. Her hugely impressive track record in government in Cardiff shows just how much our party has achieved and can achieve. Welsh children, young people and families are lucky to have had Kirsty in charge of education these last few years, and not just in comparison to the hopeless Gavin Williamson in England. Kirsty, for example, developed a whole new curriculum for Welsh schools and introduced a successful new system for student finance, bringing our Liberal Democrat vision of a fairer and more caring society to life. So Kirsty, you're a force to be reckoned with, and you will be hugely missed, both in the Senedd and across our party. Thank you again for everything.
I want to pay tribute to Kirsty's record as Education Minister. Having been a minister myself in 2 coalition governments, I know it's a very difficult task. You have to fight daily for the Liberal Democrat voice to be heard and for Lib Dem policies to be implemented. Kirsty did that steadfastly and with great success over 5 years. So thank you, Kirsty, for all you have done in order to make sure that the voice of liberal democracy has been heard loudly and effectively in Wales in the last 5 years.
I've known Kirsty Williams right from the very beginning, when she was a very young campaigner in the party, and I've watched her dedication to this party, so much so that she, without a job, spent months campaigning to become elected to the Brecon and Radnorshire constituency. And those hard times just belayed the sort of person that she is, with dedication and great capacity for doing the things which make liberalism advance. She's devoted her life mainly to health and education projects and education work in Parliament. But of course, above all, she's been a campaigner to make the Liberal Democrats grow and for the Welsh Lib Democrats to succeed. We owe her a great debt of gratitude. Thank you, Kirsty.
Paying tribute to my friend Kirsty Williams, who after 22 years in the Senedd is stepping down at the May elections. And during that time she has been a fantastic voice for our constituents, as well as for 8 years leading the Welsh Liberal Democrats and at the time being the first female leader of a Welsh political party. Since 2016, she's served with distinction as Education Minister in the Welsh Government, and during the pandemic she ensured that Wales was the first of the 4 nations to commit to continuing provision of free school meals during the summer holidays.
I remember well the first time I met Kirsty. Kirsty had just been elected as chair of the Young Welsh Liberal Democrats, and we actually shared a room together at Welsh Conference. We didn't spend much time together. Kirsty was busy networking and running from one meeting to another. But I realised instantly that here was a woman on a mission to have a successful career in politics as an elected politician. I also became aware as I watched Kirsty realise her ambition, of her amazing determination, tenacity, intellectual rigour and sheer doggedness in the good times and bad, which became the hallmarks of her very successful career in the Welsh Liberal Democrats and Welsh politics. Kirsty, to lead a political party is hugely demanding and a challenging role, but you made it your own, and the Welsh Liberal Democrats were the beneficiaries, and owe you much for the dedication you gave the role. Kirsty, thank you for all you have done for the Welsh Liberal Democrats. It has been a privilege to have known you and worked with you, and lots of good luck for your future.
It doesn't seem possible that it's now some 26 years since I first met the young Kirsty Williams whilst accompanying the late and legendary Baroness Nancy Sear on a tour of West Wales, including the Drostra Steelworks in Kirsty's hometown of Llanelli. Much has happened since then, but I want to thank Kirsty for her constant and unwavering support as we then went on to gain Ceredigion and hold on over 3 elections in what turned out to be 12 pretty turbulent years. But Kirsty, thank you in particular for your leadership of education in Wales over the last Senedd term as Cabinet Member. As a teacher in Brecon and Radnorshire now, it has always given me a great sense of pride and satisfaction knowing that you were there at the heart of government, instilling liberal values liberal principles and Liberal Democrat policies to the benefit of generations of Welsh children to come. Thank you for all you have done. Good luck for the future. Diolch yn fawr.
Kirsty, you're the best of us. You don't need me to go through a kind of greatest hits, but in the Senate for more than 21 years now, a winner time after time after time, leading the party through the most difficult yet most heroic time for us in Wales, and then also being the leader of the one part of the party in the United Kingdom during coalition that actually did well and won elections. We're incredibly proud of you. I'm incredibly proud of you. This last few years showing us the difference and reminding us of the difference that Liberal Democrats can make when we win power and we hold office. And you show us, Kirsty, not just how we can win, but why it's worth doing that, why it's worth getting elected in the first place. And so you are an inspiration to thousands of us around the country. And above all else, thank you very much for being a friend.